All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Liberty Weekly podcast. Coming at you as an Odysee exclusive. I decided to do something a little different today and go on a hike. And it's really cool so far. This is a close area that I hike at quite a bit. But I had some free time after work and thought I'd kind of kill two birds with one stone by filming this video for you. Get some of my commentary, I guess, and some nature, some visuals. Maybe we'll run into some wildlife. However, I doubt it. Oh, I wonder what that was. A bear? Don't worry, I'm carrying. There are bears around here, but you don't really see them very often. So I was going to say maybe we'll see some wildlife, but I'm sure that if I'm talking, it'll probably alert some of them to our presence. So I wish that I had a GoPro, because that would make this a lot better instead of me holding my phone out. Oh, there's a deer right there. You can see its white tail. I don't think I was able to catch it. The thing about deer is that everyone thinks that they're really quiet and sneaky, but they're not. They're loud as hell. Anyways, so I heard the deer run off just now. But I was gonna say maybe if we saw some bears, that would be interesting. So I'm glad that everyone's watching on Odysee. I've been really encouraged about producing content, just in general. I've had a few really cool things happen, which was yesterday, my article about the Chinese Uyghur situation that was published on the Libertarian Institute. It was just kind of my first piece. It was my first major piece there. And actually really my first major piece anywhere, aside from blog posts. And I don't know what kind of reception it's gotten, because you just kind of publish, and I don't know the publishing statistics or the views or anything, but it was republished, or at least it was linked on antiwar.com, which is a huge, great honor for me. And if you're if you're a fellow traveler, you know how awesome that is. And it's maybe one of the biggest accomplishments so far of my libertarian career. So I'm feeling pretty stoked about that. And what I'm thinking about doing, I'm already thinking about my next article. I did some of the preliminary research last night, but I thought it would be kind of cool to tell you guys. It's kind of what I'm thinking, because you watch on Odysee, and a lot of you have been supporting me with LBC, and I really do appreciate it, and that's why I'm trying to make all this content on Odysee. But what I thought I would do, this part of the woods is really cool. It's kind of dark in here. You really can't do it justice on a phone. But it's kind of dark in here, and it feels like a little, I don't know, you know that feeling when you go in a place it just feels a little sinister, like you're inside of a Grimm's fairy tale, which is awesome. But I got this idea for my next columns that I would read what the CFR is saying about the situation in Ukraine right now. And since they're so prophetic in so many evil ways, I thought that I would read some of their reports and papers arguing what strategy should be taking place. I really like this little stream. What strategy should be taking place? And some of the things that I learned shocked me. Look at that. Of course, it's a CFR, but I tweeted out on Twitter a screenshot that I took of a certain passage saying that the U.S. military should be basically pulling troops from all of its outposts around the world and its garrisons in other foreign countries, places like Africa and the Middle East and Europe, and concentrate them around China and Russia. And it also said that the United States should be doing what it can do. Here's a cool area. Little riverbed. The U.S. should be doing whatever it can to prepare itself for a vicious and sustained war with China and Russia. And those aren't the words verbatim, but one of the words was a sustained war with China and Russia. So, the CFR has been prophetic. It's also been, it is kind of like the CFR is in control, but they're writing a paper about what they would like to see happen. We went hunting in this right here. We had a bunch of folks do a drive across this, and I was sitting up on top of that hill with my granddad's M1 Grand trying to shoot. I haven't been able to shoot a deer with his M1 Grand, but when you're hunting in the woods like this in Wisconsin, it's kind of hard because M1 Grands are notoriously heavy. And if you're not someone who's in the military and who's in shape all the time, you gotta lug that frickin' 20-pound M1 Grand everywhere with you. Kind of like being an idiot and holding a frickin' phone in front of your face on a hike. Maybe I'll ask for a GoPro. This is one of the steepest ascents in the hike, though. When I was living in Germany during college, I lived in Germany for 6 months, maybe a little longer. And I was in Freiburg, which is in the southwest of Germany, in the Black Forest. And I would go on hikes all the time. It was really cool. So, other things that this CFR paper was talking about were preparing for a long war with China, repositioning troops in the Pacific and to Ukraine. And they kept talking about the return of the great power imbalance or the great power conflict. And basically saying that a new Cold War has already begun and the United States needs to be prepared, but moreover focus its entire foreign policy towards combating Russia and China. They were also talking about a different kind of warfare. Something like, it used to be joint operations, but now they're coming up with a new term for the information integration and utilization of new technology. And I thought I might write a paper or write a piece about that too. It's a little logging road here. It's downhill from here until there's another big hill that comes up kind of towards the end. But so I thought I'd ask the question, I don't even remember the term. I was reading this right before bed. I don't even remember the term that they use for this new operations strategy, but I think it's interesting because it gives us a little picture into how, the monstrous CFR, what kind of strategies that they're advocating for the future. Because, if anything I've kind of learned from Corbett is just that there's no secret. This was, Corbett had a recent video, like, this is Biden's secret, what he's really going to do. And the lesson he's always said is that the Corbett Report is about open source intelligence, because the intelligence agencies, they get like 90% of their intelligence from open sources, which is just basically newspapers, news reporting, people on Twitter, all those things. So, why don't we do our own counterintelligence, which is actually reading these sources, figuring out what they're openly saying, and spreading the word about it. So, really looking forward to this new paper, this new piece on the CFR, and this article they published in March, which is, of course, last month. So, here's another cool part. You can't tell how big this tree is because I've zoomed out 0.5 zoom. So there's some old trees here. But it's nice and peaceful, it's springtime. Things are just starting to turn green. And then this section over here was kind of nice because you can see the new growth of the forest. Kind of the younger pine tree crop generation, what have you. So, another thing that's fun is, I'm sure right now in Minneapolis, which is, I don't know, maybe 150 miles, and I'd love to be able to point to one direction or another, but I don't know which way is north right now. I know. Oh, there's a campsite up here. In 200 miles in some direction is Minneapolis and St. Paul. And it's very quite possible that there could be rioting happening right now, clashes between police and peaceful protesters, as it were. And I'm out here and it's quiet. And I'm hiking with a phone in front of my face. So I'll see what I can record. I don't necessarily want to talk to myself when I pass this campsite up here. I'll just pretend like I'm not doing what I'm doing. Should really have a GoPro. Then I'd have to go different areas for you. Oh, it's just a bench, it's not a tent. So I've started running again recently, where I haven't ran for like a year. Been running the last 3 or 4 weeks, and oh man, it's tough. Never been a good runner. But, if you get so caught up in the whole internet thing, you really lose touch with reality. And this is what reality is right here. Forget all that culture war stuff. Forget all the divide and conquer agenda. This is what it's really about. So at one point in time, I know this was all logging. I really wish that Sometimes that I had a time machine. Alright. This might take some skill. Watch Patrick McFarlane eat it on Odysee. So I'm going to Childerberg, and really excited about it. There's going to be a lot of people there, including Scott Horton, I believe, and Robbie the Fire Bernstein. So a bunch of other Liberty podcasting folks that I've known for years now, but I've never met in person. And from what I hear from Peaceful Trees and Guys and on their Discord channel, the first couple years, they said that everyone was surprisingly normal. And I think that's funny because, you know, you having not met a whole bunch of people that you've been communicating with on the internet, you think that the ANCAP scene is full of like autistic weirdos or something. Don't get me wrong, those do exist. I might be one of them. Again, talking to myself in the woods, holding my cell phone aloft. But I'm very excited. That's over Memorial Day weekend in Austin, Texas. But the campground is, I'm told it's 40 minutes out of Austin. So planning on flying in Friday night and then heading home Monday afternoon. But, I mean, I can honestly say this would probably have in common with all of you, most of you, is that I have not I've not done a lot of in-person Liberty stuff. You know, you got your local stuff, and I went to one Freedom Fest. I got to meet Peter Schiff. I said something stupid to one of his kids because I went up to the table and was just kind of starstruck. This was in like 2016, and it was summertime, and Schiff's kid was there, one of them, and I didn't know what to say, so I was like, well, so how's school going? And the kid's like, well, it's summer. And I was like, yes, you are right, it is summer. It was like June. So yeah. Other than that, I met Ross Ulbricht's mother, Lynn Ulbricht, at Freedom Fest too. And I probably saw a whole bunch of people who, since I was newer to the Liberty movement, I didn't really know who they were at the time. But, you know, I did get to meet Rand Paul, and I have my picture with Rand Paul. Maybe I should put that on my profile. I didn't know what to say either. I said, hi, I'm a real big fan of you and your dad. Real funny. So, but, you know, oops. Wow, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll ever meet him again. So I thought that this whole hike was like a mile and a half out and a mile and a half back. Not really sure. So my theory is that they paint these blue marks on the trees to signify where the trail is. So if you're walking along and you are lost, you just do that. But this is the Ice Age Trail, which runs across Wisconsin. So it's pretty cool. So I was saying, you know, it's nice once you kind of get out of the city and you get off the computer and you can get away from all that. Come out here, and none of that exists for a little while. for right now, just kind of walking across to Rich. Hey, so if you like this kind of content, I hope this video turns out all right. I know I had my finger in front of the screen a few times, but if you like this kind of content, you should let me know. I don't know a lot of Liberty people that do this. You know, I think Reed Coverdale might be a good one because he has talked about how he likes to go on hikes, and one of his profile pictures is him on a hike in somewhere exotic. If you could consider Yellowstone exotic, which I think I do. It's a very cool place. Exotic to foreigners. It's sad that Yellowstone probably gets equated to like some lame family trip that you took that you didn't want to go on when you were 16 because you wanted to stay home and be with your girlfriend of the month. And you just thought it was lame and associated with family stuff. But it's actually very cool. And for foreign people, it's like a wonder. You know, Yellowstone and that one in Iceland and that one hot spring geyser area in Skyrim. There's not a lot of places like that. So, surprised that this half of the hike took about 23 minutes. Because this is around the place where I usually stop. Tell you what, I'll continue filming until I get to the river, or excuse me, until I get to the lake to give a nice visual. It's too bad it's not sunny today. It's too bad it's not sunny today because you could catch a hell of a sunset over this lake. So I do know that there is a camp for troublesome youths that bring their kids out here. It still is a beautiful area. Or I mean, it's still open to the public, is what I mean. Lost my train of thought. Trying to focus on not dying. I see they replaced this here just recently. Actually, maybe not. Maybe they're going to. So here's another logging trail. This must be the same one that just kind of runs through here. So if we go down this way, oh, we're going to take more of a difficult path. My shoe's untied. Should probably do something about that. This will be fun. You know, I've been filming it sideways this whole time. I really hope that it orients itself right side up in rendering, or when I upload it. So this trail goes up here a little ways. There's a path that you can take up the hill here. But first I gotta tie my shoe. It's starting to get a little warm. There we go. So I have Keen hiking shoes. I remember that I got them when I was like 23, and I thought I looked like a dad wearing them because they just look really dad. But they're comfortable. And I get to do cool shit like this with them. Alright, so we're going to go up this path here. And it starts up there, not right here. So we could go up there, or we could be men and go up here. So I ran yesterday about 4.5 miles. And I knew I'd be too tired to run again today, so I thought this would be a good alternative. Oh wait, so this wasn't the end to where the lake is. I think we go up and over this ridge. It's on the other side. Alright, so my phone informs me that I'm at 5% battery, so I'm gonna call this a video. And that was scary. The trees are squeaking, but they sound like someone yelling at first. So, alright. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoy this content, please consider donating LBC to the channel. If you like Odysee and you want it to succeed, you have to be a part of its economy. And part of that is supporting your favorite content creators. So I encourage you all to support not just this channel, but the other Odysee creators that you follow, that you like. Tell them that it's worth their time to be here. So, really appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.